The first time, all people, past members and speakers that have passed away during 2017. And with that, I'd like to call on Jan, Jerry's widow. Okay, sorry.
Got a call from a guy called Ren. He said some stuff about our fellow man. It was only Friday, but it seems like way back when. Jerry's dead. Jerry's dead. When all is said and done, Jerry is gone. Jerry's dead. You can say he had a heart of gold. He had a spirit that never grew old. He's a guy who could not be bought or sold. Jesus Christ. Jerry's dead. The guy was young, you gotta ask why. Taken away without the by. I never got the chance to say goodbye. Jerry was dead. Jerry is dead. Goodbye, Jerry D.
Okay. Jan, I'd like to present you with this certificate of more than appreciation for Jerry. Okay. Thank you. God bless. Today's speaker. Okay, we have three for you. Sort of three speakers. Three guests, anyway. Our first guest is a club member, and again, this is where expats, helping expats coming into the fray and putting their hand up to give an experience for our members. Ian Frame has given several presentations at PCEC in the past. Now, these presentations have covered a number of topics many of you will have seen, including building a family tree, wildlife photography, living and working in Brunei, of all places, searching for oil in Saudi Arabia, and amazing photographs of Pattaya. So without further ado, today Ian's going to talk on a very famous person's genealogy. So I'm sure it will be entertaining. And it's over to you, Ian.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to pull some stuff out of the hat here. I've chosen Donald Trump because everybody knows him, a well-known character. So I'm going to look into the background of Donald Trump and his family.
You can stand on the stage.
Oh, okay. Do I have a stick so I can flick through them? Yeah.
You stand on the stage, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Things where we can get the information: birth records, death records, marriage records, divorce records, census records, immigration, naturalization records, obituary records, cemetery records, and tombstone inscriptions. So there's lots of sources for information if we're trying to build up a family tree. We use I use the internet for finding my information. There's lots of information out there. The unfortunate part is a lot of these sites require you to pay money. Being Scottish, I don't pay any money to anyone. So these are all free sites. But you've got to be a bit careful that you don't get onto a site which requires you to stump up some money. These ones are all very good, and as I said, they're all free. There's a young girl, Donald Trump. I think you'll recognize him. That's a smug, satisfied Donald Trump. That's a surprised Donald Trump. Wow. That's a read my lips. He looks a bit angry there. Says who? Just one moment. There's some great photographs on the internet, but it really is. And there's the feeling smug one. So that's the end of my photographs. So you should recognize him, I think. That's him talking to Kim Jong-un. First wife, Ivana. Second wife, Marla. And third wife, Melania. Now we'll get on to the meat of the thing, the genealogy part. There's just I think I'll stand down there actually, otherwise I'm going to stiff neck staring up at it. That's better. This one I just picked up off the internet. It's a small family tree, but it only gives his immediate family, his mother, his father, and his 3 wives and their kids. This is a very good site, Jenny, or Jeannie. Anybody that's imported at all, you can find, if you look at Jenny and just put the person's name in, you can find that sort of information. There's the full, you don't need to remember this stuff at the bottom, you just need to put Jenny, Donald Trump, press the button and you'll come up with this information here. There's some more information. Wikipedia is another good site. General information. It gives you his occupation there. Quite a few occupations. Host of The Apprentice. I'm sure most of you, or quite a few of you, have seen The Apprentice in the past on the television. There's Trump Tower. He's actually got a penthouse in the top, and I think that's a helicopter actually sitting on the top of that one. He has, presumably when he's not staying in the White House, he lives on the penthouse on the top of this Trump Tower. It says at the bottom, several members of the Trump family reside in this building. Now, this is interesting bit now. Mary Ann MacLeod, a nice Scottish name. That is his mother. And I've thrown in some MacLeod tartan at the bottom there. This is Jenny information on his mother. Born in Stornoway. Stornoway is an island off the west coast of Scotland. And she went across to America, make a fortune, and she married Donald Trump's father. There's Stornoway. Interesting place. I once went camping here, spent about 10 days or so going over that island with a bag on my back and some food and a small stove. And I lived on the island for a couple of weeks. I don't think I saw another soul from the moment I arrived till I left. It was a pretty remote place. There it is in 1900. Most of the people are involved in fishing. So there's lots of fishing baskets there. Interesting thing is everybody's wearing a bonnet. If you look at old photographs, the strange thing is everybody wears a hat. These days, hardly anybody seems to wear hats, but 1900, irrespective of where you are, whether in New York or whether in London or Glasgow or up in the islands, everybody wears a cap. There they are. Even the kids are wearing hats. So there's Wiki Tree, a tree, and that is his mother, and that is her ancestors, the mother, father, grandfather, great-grandfather. All that information is available. All you have to put in is, on the WikiTree site, is the name, and you'll come up with this sort of information. That's very good. I think it's excellent, actually. Island of Lewis in Scotland. Interesting thing, everybody's got the same, almost everybody has the same name, which I suppose is a part of living on an island, a sort of remote island. Everybody is related to everybody else in some way or other. Malcolm MacLeod, Alexander MacLeod married Anne MacLeod, William MacLeod married Catherine MacLeod. There's Ellis Island. That's the entry point to America if you're coming from Europe. That is your first port of call. From about 1900 or so onwards, it was Ellis Island. Castle Garden was the one that was there before that. So this is one that started about 1900. If you look at the website for Ellis Island, put in Mary MacLeod, you come up with this sort of information. She arrived at Ellis Island in 1934. She was 22 years old when she arrived. Quite young, 22. And she arrived on the ship Cameronia. And there's the ship. So there's lots of information out there. It's quite amazing how much information you can find if you dig around. If you know where to look, you can find all sorts of information. So that was the ship. She came from Scotland to New York on that ship. That is her about 30, 40 years later with Frederick Trump, her husband, or the father of Donald Trump, so mother and father of Donald Trump. There's another tree for Donald Trump's father. And the interesting thing is, it wasn't back in 1885, it wasn't Trump, it was Drumpf. So when he moved to America, he changed his name from Drumpf to Trump to make it sound more Americanized. So he went to 1885, he emigrated to America. He was very young at that time, and he came back in 1902. He went back to Germany again, and he married this woman, Elizabeth Christ. I don't know if she was religious or not, but he married her and then took her back to America. So there's the tree for Donald Trump's father, Frederick Christ Trump. The grandfather would be Frederick Trump, and the grandmother is Elizabeth Christ. And you can follow it on back there. Christ. Jenny for him, basic information. He born 1905, died in 1999 in New York. And again, they put the name Drumpf instead of Trump. That's his father, real estate developer. So net worth $250 to $300 million. That's quite substantial. Died age 93. A lot of information is available from the censuses. Well, what censuses is every 10 years, America does a census, a USA census. Somebody comes round to your door, knocks on the door, and asks who lives there. They jot that information down, and it goes into a computer. The state also does, every 10 years, they do one as well. So there's two censuses done, one by the state and one by the country, by the USA. They've been doing it since 1790, and all that information is held in computers now, and it's very easy to extract that information if you so wish. The Mormon site is very good for that. Family search, that information is readily available there. Yeah, there's a 1915 New York State Census. Tells you that he was born in 1906, and the check in 1915, and said he's living in Queens, New York. The same the one below for Elizabeth Trump, as you'd expect. There's the 1925, still living in New York. Well, they may move around a bit within New York, but they're still there. That's the grandfather, Frederick Trumpf, or Drumpf. That's the one who was born in Germany. And that is the grandmother, Elizabeth Christ, again from Germany. And also on the census information, we've also managed to gather the immigration data too, telling you that he immigrated to America in 1885. Here's where he came from in Germany, Karlstadt, which is somewhere close to the French border. And he emigrated at 16 years old, and he worked as a barber initially in New York when he arrived. That's repeating what I said earlier. He said Friedrich Drumpf was his name at that time. That's the grandfather and grandmother. And that's Castle Garden. That is before Ellis Island. It was there 1855 and 1890. And Castle Garden was the entry point into America. 8 million people arrived during those 2 days. And there's a lot of Trumps going to America when you look at the list there. Quite a lot. I wouldn't have thought it was such a common name, but when you start looking through some of these tables and things, you find that there are a lot of people called Trump. Surprising. And he arrived there 16 years old. And the strange thing is, there was he arrived on the 19th of October, and I don't see anyone else on that table arriving at that time. So it may be that he came with a relative with a different name, or he was put on the boat by himself. I don't know. And there's the cemetery where his mother, father, grandfather, and grandmother are buried in here. And I think and that's it.
And that's the story of Donald Trump. Now we know where he came from. It explains a lot. Thank you.